Little things really can make a big difference. I can't do it. No, that's not what you said.
What did I say? We'll show you how. I'll forget that I gotta sit up like a freak.
Don't say that. Just stop.
You ready?
Yeah. Welcome back to Adore Your Spouse, where marriages get happier. I was reading an article the other day by author Richard Paul Evans, and I didn't know this, but he actually had a very troubled marriage for a really long time. And even, he says, you would think that fame and fortune would have solved the problem, but it didn't at all. And
well, it was so bad. The daughter, didn't she say, like, when they were 2, she would pray that they wouldn't fall apart. And then when, like, she was 8 or 9, she kind of was hoping they would get divorced because she was so tired of all the fighting.
She's tired of the fighting. Yeah, she said something along those lines. So at one point, he was on a book tour, and he was saying how book tour often was helpful because then he could get out of the house and they could be, it was kind of escape. And they had just had an argument on the phone and hung up, and he was so angry, and he just cried and cried and cried, and he finally just got down and prayed like crazy. He was like, what am I going to do? I really don't want to get divorced, but I don't know how we can go on like this. And he said after a while, finally this thought came to his mind, Richard, you are the only one that you can change. And that kind of triggered a train of thought with him. And so he finished his book tour and he got on a plane and went home. And the day that he got home, so, the relationship was really strained. And so they didn't talk much.
It was just as bad as it was when they left.
Well, sure. So they went to bed and he got up the next morning and he turned over in bed and he looked at her and he said, is there anything I can do to make your day better? What is something I could do for you to make your day better? And she just kind of scowled at him and she didn't know what to make of it. And then she was like,
what are you trying to pull?
Well, no, she didn't say anything. She just said, well, just do the dishes.
Yeah, but
I guess just clean the kitchen.
Yeah, but that would be an appropriate or a reaction that someone would have in that situation.
Yeah, so she's like, just do the dishes. So then this went on for the next 2 or 3 days, and she kept giving him big jobs, and he was really, really busy. I mean, he's a multimillionaire, super famous author, and he's in there cleaning the kitchen, straightening out the garage, just because he wants to fix his marriage. And frankly, guys, this is the kind of thing where in his situation, he could have been like, I'm just going to pay somebody to do it, sweetie, like, really? But he didn't. He said, this is what I've committed to do, this is what I'm going to do. And on about the 4th or 5th day, he turned over and said, what can I do for you today that would make your day better? And she started bawling. And she's like, the marriage is all my fault. I'm hard to live with. I know I make you miserable. You should just leave me, and takes all this personal responsibility because he had made this one simple gesture. He only made one change. Everything else was probably just the same. Maybe he was trying to be nicer or whatever, but he made one small change. And honestly, he said from that day that he asked that question the first time, their marriage has just gotten better and better and better. And he says, now I don't just love my wife, I really like her. And I like spending time with her. And it just made me think of, I'll come home from somewhere and Blaine will be sorting out the laundry, or he makes the bed basically every morning. And, this is even more meaningful to me because acts of service is my love language, and he knows that. But you know what? He still doesn't have to. He still doesn't have to do small gestures.
Those little small gestures are huge. I remember working with a client, and she said that her husband was coming in with her, and then he quit coming and says, you're the problem, blah, 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 blah. And so I said, okay, let's work on you. And so she decided that one thing she was going to start doing was being herself, because she had stepkids and stuff, and so she just wanted to be herself around them instead of, not being herself. I obviously wasn't there. I didn't know how she acted. The next week she came in and said, everything's changed. I said, what? And she said, you can't believe everyone started noticing how different I was, and my spouse even noticed it, and then he started responding because he felt he was so appreciative that she was so down to earth and so herself around his stepkids. It just made a little tiny thing made a big impact in her marriage in just 1 week.
Especially when it's not something you have to do. I mean, there are countless times that I can think of right now when we've been in a fight and Blaine will just reach over and put his hand on mine. Just the
Well, don't you
smallest.
say we've been in countless fights. That's not true.
Oh, okay. Well, there just been a lot of times when, you know,
But you've done stuff all through our marriage. You do stuff with our kids and you're helping out. And I appreciate that because I'm busy and you're making sure that's happening. And you do stuff for me all the time. Like with my love language, all the time. And it was hard for you to do it, but you realized what important it was. And so you'll reach over and grab my hand or you do it all the time. And it's just simply because you want to have a great marriage, and I feel that you're making that sacrifice, and I really appreciate it.
Well, this is something that is in our control all the time. We can do small things. We can smile. We can grab their hand. We can ask if they'd like to go get some ice cream. We can let them choose the movie. There are little things that you can do, little tiny selfless acts that those gestures build up. They make a big difference. My brother was telling me the other day that he had friends that divorced, and it all started because the wife didn't want to make dinner. So, you know, make dinner. My heavens, you know, don't lose your marriage over dinner.
Or don't get all upset because she won't make dinner and do something else.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Both sides.
So this week, your challenge is to do something small for your spouse that maybe you haven't been doing in the past, or you know that would be meaningful to them, or just anything loving, just a small gesture, and watch how it changes the mood, how it changes how you feel and how they feel, and how it nurtures your marriage. Thanks so much for watching. Please share this video and subscribe below. And please head over to adoreyourspouse.com because we've got some cool free resources for you. A free marriage class you can take, free assessment, free coaching calls, some cool tools over there to help your marriage. And remember, you can have the marriage that you long for. The worst thing you can do is say, well, at least. At least, you know, I'll never forget, we had someone close to us whose marriage was kind of in ruins, and Blaine was kind of talking to them and looking for some empathy and some connection, and their comment was, well, at least you have a good marriage. Because his